2030.
A coalition of Saudi private investors and family offices has formed a new fund, Waad Investment, a new firm focused on supporting growth stage startups with a target fund of 750 million riyals, that is 200 million greenbacks. The initiative is led by Yaser AlGhamdi, Waad's investment founder and chief investment operations officer, alongside key partners from the AlMajed and AlMisfer family offices. How did I do on those names, Dr. Hannah?
Bad. No, good job. AlMajed and AlMisfer. You got it.
Thank you. Oh, I'm a natural.
You're right, exactly. So Yaser AlMajed, CEO of AlMajdi Group, and Waad Investment, CEO of Saudi real estate infrastructure company Binaya, are reportedly integral to the venture's strategic direction and investment goals. The initiative is spearheaded by Yaser AlGhamdi, Waad Investment's founder and chief investment operations officer, in partnership with the AlMajed and AlMisfer family offices.
Do you need help on the pronunciations? I'm really happy to help you if you need
Thank
any
you.
guidance.
I really appreciate
you got
that.
It?
Sometimes I can't. You know what it is? It's the transliteration. So I'm like, what is this, Waad or Waad? Is this AlMisfer? Is this You're never, like when you write it down in English, it's transliterated. And so you might be missing out which Arabic letter it actually is. So sometimes, like when I was reading this, because I didn't actually look it up, AlMajdi Group, I'm not sure if that's what it's called. So my instinct was like, I want to Google this. That's why I paused. I want to Google it to see what it's called in Arabic. But anyway, thanks.
The reason why I'm excited we're talking about this is because this is like when you're looking at the maturity of a venture capital ecosystem, you really need to have funds that are positioned at all stages of investment. And they only occur when there are companies in which to invest. So you had a ton of seed funds come along after SVC and some other first movers were in the space. You had a lot of other funds come along and start to get in on the seed stage of investment. And those things are the highest risk for investors because they're the least mature. But when you structure a fund that is focused on seed, you're getting a lot of access to the startups that are just taking root. And they're usually taking root as part of a very nascent ecosystem where if you build from that stage up, you can have these startups go in and network with other seed stage ventures. But at some point, you need to have follow-on investments. You need to have more mature investors. And then it goes all the way up basically to private equity, which would either come in post-IPO, pre-IPO, but the stage of the company would be quite advanced. So it's really cool to see a new fund that is focused on a little bit of a later stage from Saudis who are based in Saudi and part of different family offices. There are now a lot of VCs in Saudi Arabia. It's starting to become a place where, for example, Ibrahim Al-Mojal was talking about where you're seeing these companies mature over time. And so there needs to be support for those companies. And the best way to do it is not with the public sector, because it's very difficult for public sector people that are not spending private capital to make smart investments. They still do. Obviously, you have the PIF and you have other investment firms and institutional investors that are stepping in and seeing really good opportunities. But what we're seeing now is this next stage. And it's you look ahead to it and say, okay, where are the sort of later stage investors? Where are some of the guys that want to do M&A? And this is something that we're starting to see now. It's very early still, as Ibrahim Al-Mojal told you, as I'm telling you now, for the Saudi VC ecosystem, this stuff takes so long and sometimes doesn't work out. But every single step along the way for Saudi Arabia's VC ecosystem has been the right step and the correct sort of ascendance for a sector that is very important to authorities to develop. And it should be, because this ends up being the engine of capitalism, venture capital, startups, because then these technologies not only can do well and create prosperity locally, you can export them and start seeing FDI, inward flows of investment and capital. I just think that this is really cool. I wanted to draw attention to this. I didn't know any of these people. I don't know any of these people, but you have a fund here that's, hey, we're going to take a little bit of an advanced positioning into this space. And we're seeing some companies that we like. They also are not a closed fund. They're raising money, but I bet they get it. So just cool. Congrats to them.
Yeah, congrats to them. And also, it's really important just to note these are two family companies, right? They're family owned. And I think that's the majority of companies within the kingdom in the private sector. And so it's great to see that the role of family owned companies in basically continuing to fill this gap of funding and the needs of new small and medium enterprises, new companies. It's great to see that they're looking at these as opportunities, right? So these aren't going to be new family-owned companies. They're going to be a different format that's going to come onto the scene, which I think is important for economic growth. So it's great.